The Mongol archer wasn't born in a barracks. He was forged on the steppe from the moment he could walk. At 3 years old, Mongol children were already learning to ride, their tiny hands gripping the manes of horses that would become extensions of their own bodies. By 5 Ginemi, they held their first bow, not a toy, but a scaled-down version of the weapon that would conquer half the known world. This wasn't training. This was survival, woven into the fabric of daily life, where every child, boy or girl, learned that mastery of horse and bow meant the difference between eating and starving. The composite bow they wielded was a masterpiece of engineering that took months to construct from 10 different materials: bamboo core for flexibility, horn from mountain sheep compressed on the belly to resist the crushing force of the draw, sinew from deer stretched along the back to handle tension, all bound together with fish glue and wrapped in birch bark to protect against the merciless steppe weather. Each warrior crafted his own bow, keeping it close to his body under his clothing to shield it from moisture that could dissolve the animal glue and render it useless. They carried 2 bows into battle, a longer one capable of striking targets at 350 yards, and a shorter, more maneuverable weapon for close-quarters combat on horseback. Consider the story of Jebe, whose name means arrow. During the Battle of Khutulun in 1201, this unknown warrior shot Genghis Khan clean off his horse. After the Mongols won, the Khan demanded to know who had struck him, expecting the man would beg for mercy. Instead, Jebe stepped forward and admitted his deed without hesitation. Impressed by his honesty and skill, Genghis Khan didn't execute him. He made him one of his greatest generals. Jebe would go on to lead campaigns across Asia, his bow singing the song of conquest from Korea to the gates of Europe. The training never stopped. Mongol warriors practiced a technique called the thumb draw, using only their strongest digit to pull back strings with draw weights exceeding 160 pounds, more than double what modern Olympic archers use. They could fire 12 arrows per minute with deadly accuracy, and they mastered the art of shooting in every direction while riding at full gallop. The famous Parthian shot, turning backward in the saddle to fire at pursuing enemies, became their signature move, a technique so devastating that it broke the morale of armies before the real fighting even began. Women were not excluded from this warrior culture. Mongol women learned archery alongside the men, using their bows to hunt and defend their families when the warriors rode to war. Some even joined the military ranks, fighting on the front lines as mounted archers. Historical accounts tell of Khutulun, a warrior princess and great-great-granddaughter of Genghis Khan, who refused to marry any man who couldn't defeat her in wrestling, and who rode into battle with bow and blade, collecting horses from every suitor she bested. The arrows themselves were instruments of psychological warfare. Mongol quivers held different types: armor-piercing arrows with metal tips measuring 6 inches long and over an inch wide, designed to punch through the heaviest armor; whistling arrows with hollow bone heads that shrieked through the air to signal commands or terrify enemies; fire arrows wrapped in oil-soaked cloth; and fork-tipped arrows that inflicted catastrophic wounds. Each arrow was chosen for its purpose, and a skilled archer knew exactly which to knock before the string even touched his thumb. Training exercises doubled as cultural celebrations. The Nadam festival, still held today across Mongolia, features the 3 manly skills: wrestling, horse racing, and archery. These weren't just games, but the same competitions that Genghis Khan used to identify and train his finest warriors. Children as young as 6 would race horses across 30 kilometers of open steppe, while archers competed to hit small leather targets from distances that would make modern marksmen weep. The festival was a proving ground where the next generation of warriors announced themselves to the world. One inscription from 1226, carved into a stone stele in Siberia, commemorates an almost unbelievable feat. Asunge, nephew of Genghis Khan, shot an arrow 536 meters, that's nearly 6 football fields, during an assembly of Mongolian dignitaries. This wasn't mythology. It was recorded history, a testament to the terrifying capabilities these warriors possessed. When Mongol envoys arrived at the gates of foreign kingdoms, They would often demonstrate their archery skills as a form of diplomatic intimidation. And it worked. The daily life of a Mongol warrior was inseparable from his weapons. He slept with his bow, ate with his quiver beside him, and rode with arrows always within reach. Maintenance was constant, checking the sinew for fraying, ensuring the glue hadn't weakened, replacing worn strings made from silk or animal tendon. The relationship between warrior and bow was almost spiritual. Many believed their bow held their soul, and to lose it in battle was considered worse than death itself. This culture of archery created an unstoppable military force. When Mongol armies swept across Asia and into Europe, they faced knights in heavy armor, samurai in Japan, and fortified cities with massive walls. Yet time and again, the Mongol archers prevailed, raining arrows from distances where their enemies couldn't respond, circling and striking with a mobility that made traditional armies look like they were standing still. The composite bow, combined with the Mongol horse and a lifetime of training, became the weapon that built the largest contiguous land empire in human history. 11 million square miles conquered by men who learned to shoot before they learned to read. Today, in the vast grasslands of Mongolia, you can still find families teaching their children the ancient ways. The bows are still made by hand using traditional methods. The horses still run wild across the steppe, and the spirit of those legendary archers lives on in every arrow released toward the endless sky.